Nothing like a shower to make you feel alive again. Whew, I feel really awake and a lot better now than I did since yesterday when the tire blew. This is my first shower since then. So I thought I'd go ahead and show you one, that I can shower here from these free facilities at the beach. But I do have a backup system for showering. This is a cheapy little unit I made right here. Basically, it's detergent cleaner thingy, and I don't know if you remember my water sprayer, my mister, that didn't work. I just took the tubing from there and glued it here. Used super glue. You could probably use what is that? That clear stuff, that gooey stuff, goop or whatever, to glue it there. But I drilled a hole in the center and put that in there. If you didn't have one of these spout things, you could probably just use tubing or a straw. And then I drilled holes all along the edge here in a circular pattern. You could probably, if I were doing this again, I'd make the holes here smaller. I think I made them a little too big. But what happens is when you turn it upside down, the water comes out through these little holes on the side, and air goes up through the center hole so that the unit keeps flowing. I'll show you how it works. So I basically add water to it, and if I wanted it warm, I could just let it sit in the sun and it would actually heat up, and then you can have a warm shower. But to use it, you just simply tilt it, and of course it just comes out, and and you can shower like that. And turn it off, lather up, do what you need to, and rinse. So that's how that shower unit works right there. And you could probably make this thing for like less than $1. I mean, if you had access to this, you could use other types of jugs, but I like this one because the tip was big and I could turn it into like a shower head. Some other changes that have occurred with Lil Blue. I know I've already covered that. We have spare donut there on the roof, which I really don't like it up there. But for now, that's going to have to do, and I don't want to risk having another flat and being stuck and making it an emergency, when having a spare would just make it an inconvenience. Right now, I have removed the cooking units here because it turns out that even though they worked and they work great, I don't really use them that much on the road, especially when I'm planning on staying mostly off-grid. So they were just taking up space, and I needed the space. So I'm keeping the shelving here because I do use the rice cooker, and that seems to be what I use a lot. So I use it to heat things up, I use it to cook rice, I use it to cook pasta, I can boil water with it. And this rice cooker here, this 300-watt unit, and I have the red one too. They're both two different brands, but pretty much both 300-watt units, and they work great off the inverter system. And I can easily carry them to a picnic table when I find a park or something that has 120-volt access. But I got rid of the burner that was here because we don't really use it. I do have, behind here, I do have my propane burner, but the electric one we got rid of, and there was a toaster oven here, and so I won't be able to do any baking and stuff like that. But the thing was, I had put it in there when this unit was, when Lil Blue was designed to be a part-timer, leisure vehicle that I would take out on the weekends and stuff like that, where you could plan things and maybe bake something out there. But for day-to-day living, it wasn't used enough to warrant taking up this much space. So right now I have a small container here, just storage of junk that I need to go through, my tarp, and some tools here, a socket set. And I think this is going to be a better use of the space. It's sad to pretty much dismantle the kitchen. I'm probably going to fix these shelving here, but basically space is a premium, and you got to make the most of it. Also, I have a metal detector here, so the plan some of these days is just to go out and go treasure hunting. So that's pretty much it. My tripod, some photography stuff, since I'm planning on getting my photography back up and maybe trying to make some money off nature and scenics. Although occasionally I might try to photograph some models, if I get in touch with them when I'm in their area and they want to shoot. But most of the stuff I'll be shooting nowadays will be scenics and wildlife, I guess, because I'm planning on being out in the boonies a lot, at least a lot more than I was previously. I got rid of the skimmer board here because my son and I never use it. I left the boogie board because he did use that a lot, and the plan is, even though I will eventually be leaving this area, while I'm still here, I'll try to see them as much as possible. And even after I leave, I plan on coming by here, like, you know, hopefully once a month or every other month or something, and then getting the kids when I'm supposed to during visitation for the spring break or summer. It just depends on, you know, if my ex is going to give me a hard time and what the courts say. Basically, this is the crap that's been going on that's driving me nuts, you know. We're almost 7 years into the divorce. I still don't get to see my kids, even though I have a court order with visitation schedules and whatnot. My ex will not let me see my kids, and I've taken her to court on it for contempt. The judge just basically tells her, well, ma'am, you need to follow the directions. You need to, but then she doesn't. And then when I call the police, they say that, you know, it's a civil matter. I need to go to court. I go back to court again on it. And of course, the same thing happens. This has been going on for 7 years. I'm at the point of basically saying, fuck it. You know, I can't keep going. And every time I show that she is indeed in contempt, the court doesn't do anything about it. Therefore, I don't get to see my kids. Like, I'm supposed to get them this weekend, but she's not letting me see them. So, you know, that's what's happening. And it's just driving me nuts, and rather than fight the system, get all depressed and get angry, I've decided I'm just going to go on with my life. And if she lets me see them, she lets me see them. If she doesn't, she doesn't. The courts won't do anything about it. I've gone, like I said, you know, with the information, the judge could see that she wasn't letting them see me, and yet nothing's being done about it other than saying, ma'am, you need to follow the directions. Meanwhile, I've been told to keep all this paperwork, which I've been keeping. I've got like a ton of it, but they don't really care. It's like something they just give the party that doesn't have the children to do, you know, but they don't really use it. I think unless you get an attorney, which I can't afford right now. And I've heard really bad stories of like people, even an attorney, fighting for like as much as 7 or 12 years and then losing. And meanwhile, his practice went to shit. You know, he lost his business. So it's a hit and miss depending on the court and the judge. What I've seen here in Brevard County is it's never going to win. I can't win. It's a messed up system. Anyhow, that's depressing stuff. So let's get to more interesting things here. You can see here the bed hasn't been made yet, but this is my bedroom. It still looks pretty much the same. I've got some more packs and stuff, first aid kit, a day pack for just carrying junk in, but I can empty it out and use it to explore. I have a battery charger, the 120 volt that's hooked up to the house battery, which is under here. Portable system, which I need to charge back up. My portable sink, gotta loosen it to let the air in. Oops, it's too much. And you can, you know, wash your hands. That's pretty handy, and something that can be easily made. Okay, scissors here I gotta put up. And of course, junk drawer full of stuff. More junk drawer. Oh, let me see here. I got a bowl here with ice. You can see a bag of ice. I bought some ice. My beans or peas. My beans are still here, so I might munch on those. My bananas are still here from the other day, so I'll munch on those. But the reason I have ice here is not all of it will fit in the container that I have under the fridge, or inside the fridge. But the fridge itself is under there, and I'm using it as an ice chest. I mounted a little light here, so it's a little LED light. So when I open it up, I can see, you know, inside. So you can see all the food in there. So I'm pretty set food-wise. And that's pretty much it for that. As far as other changes, I don't think there's... Let me go to the other side and show you some of the interior changes. I don't know if you'll be able to see it with the lighting and stuff, but we'll try it. Bring it back out. course, you can see I have a tent here, so I can do some primitive camping if need be. Oh, the other thing I did was when I started here, you can see it's still a mess because I need to clean up. I had like about 4 or 5 jugs of water here, gallon jugs. And the reason I had them was when I was planning on staying mostly off-grid, mostly in the boonies, in that wilderness area that I had discovered. But the problem with it was the encounter with Walking Dead has made that area not so appealing anymore. Although I may go back there again and may scout for another spot because I don't think he would walk across the whole complex. But I don't really plan on being out in the boonies for more than 1 day, maybe 2 days at the most. So that means 1 or 2 jugs of water should last me instead of taking 4 or 5. So I got rid of the jugs because they were taking up space. What else? I think that's about it for the changes this side. Let me show you what else we've got going on. You can see I have decorations and stuff up, photos of my kids and I from a couple years back. That's my daughter and my son, and the entertainment system here, which I haven't used actually for a couple days. If I end up not using it for a long time, I might go ahead and remove it, but for now I'll keep it there so that I can do computing in desk mode if I need to, or watch movies mostly. I haven't been putting it in desk mode, and the reason is I've got too much junk. So right now the system is pretty much set up almost as a permanent bed mode, and I don't really intend to use the desk mode since I'm urban camping and have access to the library, which is a lot more comfortable than my little miniature desk that I have rigged back here. So that's the current plan. I'm keeping the bed in bed mode, and even the emergency toilet and stuff is kind of hard to get to. It's buried under the bed, and the reason for that is there's no need for it if I'm urban camping. Especially if I camp overnight in an area such as Walmart or whatever, where I have access to a bathroom anytime that I need to use it. So the toilet is now harder to access and not really going to be used unless I decide to go out into the boonies, and that's why it's set up like it is. I've set up, I had mentioned previously that I have a cork board that I put up, and it basically has some drawings and pictures and stuff that my kids made for me, my daughter there when she was younger, and my son, on his little mini pocket rocket there when things were starting to go smooth for me before it got messed up again. I mean, it's like every time my life gets reset and things start to go well for me, my ex starts things up, and this is how I ended up in this current situation again. So, like I said, this go around, I'm just fed up with it. I'm not going to play the game anymore, and I'm just going to do what I'm going to do, and not let her pull me into basically court again over nothing and create problems for me. And basically now, at this point, there's nothing that she can really do to me because she's done everything. But the fan, I have just this fan that I run all night. It's a 12-volt fan, and it can run all night off the house battery. And it does drain the battery quite a bit, but it manages to make it through the night. And then the next day while I'm driving around, I charge the system up with the switch that's under here. I know you can't see it, but it's the switch that I installed on near the seat, behind the front seat. I'm able to charge the house system up and run that fan all night, and it can also charge up my phones and other electronic devices. That battery right now is still unsafe. It's a regular 12-volt lead acid battery, starter battery. As soon as I can afford it, I'll be upgrading that to an AGM battery just to make it a bit safer. I think that's pretty much it. The system is set up and pretty comfortable and functional. I can pretty much park anywhere and drop to bed. I guess the only other thing that might be a question that some people might have is that what happened to my experiment with the evaporative cooler. I was making an ice-based cooler that was going to have water pump and a fan unit blowing through a mesh screening that had water running through, cold water. I got rid of it, and the reason I got rid of it wasn't that it didn't work. I got rid of it just because space is an issue. So a lot of stuff got tossed, and I'm trying to make it right now with only one fan. I do have the fan unit that was in that that water evaporative cooler, but I don't plan on using it. I plan on trying to make it by with this one fan, and so far it's been working fine. So basically I've simplified. I'm downsizing still some more. I'm getting rid of things as I don't need them, and you know, the only true way to really know this stuff is to test it in actual field use, and then when things come up, you see what the real world problems are that you're going to encounter, and then you adapt and adjust. And it's going to be an ongoing process, but this first week will trim the vehicle, and has trimmed the vehicle to mostly the stuff that I need, and know that I actually use, and stuff that I don't, it just gets tossed. Oh, excuse me. But that's where we're at right now with the vehicle, and I need to get some water. Excuse me.